When you get to many places, even though you said the tolls that we pay doesn't qualify as taxes, but wouldn't it be a good idea for us to start from some of these areas? Because, I mean, you go to several areas, whether it's a toll, to the airport, whichever area, the same facility, the same amenities is what you see year in, year out, but the levies keep going higher and higher. Who's accounting for the monies they take in those areas?
You see, essentially, government must use all available revenue handles. You can't focus on tax alone and then neglect others. You have to focus on charging for services where there are direct benefits flowing to people who patronize them. For example, it's not a wrong concept, even in developed countries, to pay for tolls. And I don't know how we can revamp our road network.
But what you do with it?
What essentially, for example, the issue of accountability will improve once you reduce this freebies coming from Abuja. The issue of accountability will come in when people are involved. For example, look at few areas where you have tolls in this country. You can't really say that the roads are bad. The roads in Lekki has been virtually transformed, although a lot of people have issues with that, but I don't. I prefer to have sane, clean roads if I have to pay very little, but the argument is create alternative roads. If we don't go the way some developed countries have gone, we won't be able to fix these roads. And I think it's better to pay a little, control the price, avoid escalation, and avoid all the accidents on the road.
Dr. Sani, when you talk about this payment, I doubt Nigerians are averse to paying. I think they are willing to pay, but what they're asking for is, one, availability of the product they are paying for, the service they are paying for. Two, accountability. Chairman asked the question, who's accounting for this? You're going towards the airport, for instance. The toll still looks the same. That toll gate at the airport still looks the same. The road around that toll is getting worse by the day. But guess what? The toll is increasing.
I don't agree with that.
The toll is increasing.
I don't agree that the roads are getting worse on the airport road. I mean the one that leads from the local airport to the international airport is still one of the best roads.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Around that roundabout that goes to the toll, it's still
government must use all the revenue handles. Penalties, we have to leverage on penalties. Recently, it occurred to me that how do you allow vehicles to park 3 lanes just because they want to buy fuel? It's unfortunate that we are in this situation and people have to sleep in petrol station. But is it an excuse for lawlessness? I was traveling about 2 weeks ago. I had to turn back after spending about 2 hours on this road. So now in developed country, they are going to make a lot of money by imposing penalty on people. Look, the queue could unfortunately be as long as here to the Third Mainland Bridge. But there is no reason why you should block the roads just because you want to buy fuel.
Penalties.
Yeah.
You say we should leverage on penalties. Now, some people consider the toll as a penalty.
No, that is wrong classification.
Some people will, I said some people will consider the toll as a penalty. But the other part of it is also the reward system, where those who are seen to be doing the right thing, seem to get some form of reward. Not like saying, come, Dr. Sani, collect this for having done this, but they see the service that they are paying for. Many times Nigerians don't see the service they are paying for until they complain, and so they begin to jump and form the multiple lanes you're seeing, and you'd say they should be punished. But who would punish when you, who's supposed to be enforcing that law, is breaking the law as well?
You see, I agree with you that government should actually be for the security and the welfare of the people. Unfortunately, that's not the experience in Nigeria. But if we are talking about development going forward, you can't also encourage lawlessness. I'm a lawyer. The primary role of law is to order behavior. I mean, the alternative for law and order is chaos. You have a situation where there are 4 lanes on the express and people can't move at all. I'm talking about something real. I had to go back after spending 2 hours.
So should the citizens hold the law enforcement agents accountable? As in, if the law enforcement agents are seen to be the ones encouraging those 4 lanes on the road to buy fuel, because some of them actually form those 4 lanes to buy fuel as well, should the citizens also hold them accountable? And how can that be?
Government should be held accountable at all times. Government should at all times be held accountable. It would be unfortunate if those who are responsible for that chaos are law enforcement agents. That would be most appalling. But certainly, no government, no institution can work efficiently if people are detached and disconnected the way we are. So that is why we have to develop a system where people will be involved. And they have to be involved by being part of it. If you adopt the system that I'm recommending, the people that you are concerned about will pay very little. In some developed country, they even find a way to put money in their pockets because they earn below the poverty wage. Yes, they structure their tax system in such a way that there is a welfare dimension to it. And that is why you see that in those developed nations, even those who are doing plumbing, those who are very, they still file returns. Because when they do, government gives them some grants or some checks. Yes. So we have to develop system that will alleviate the burden of the ordinary masses.
That's very important.
Very important. Because we are sitting on a gun of yes, we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder. If we do not address the widening inequality, it's something very serious.
Because I have been around. When you go around, you see the ease. You have just categorized it under fear. The ease with which they pay the monies. They don't have to wait for anyone. The moment they see you, they quickly bring out the money. And cumulatively, if you look at how much they pay in a month, is way above what they would have been paying for tax.
Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. It's extortion as far as I'm concerned. I have so many people at that level. I am familiar with that environment. And I sympathize with them.
So in closing, can they really be captured into the system so that they know that they're paying less, and whatever they're paying goes into the system that will ultimately bring about development for them and the community?
Well, in a way, Lagos State is seeking to address that. I mean, they at least try to enter into some form of partnership with all the institutions at this level to make sure that people pay something symbolically. And because there are collecting agents, I mean staff of the tax authority at this, at least you are sure that, but we need to widen it. We need to further decentralize it. For me, until you have local governments that are in a position to do some of these things efficiently, you don't have a system.
Does that mean government should shelve that plan of theirs to work with states to gradually increase VAT on goods and services?
VAT, income tax are broad-based taxes. But what you see in reality is that we just concentrate on the very few. There's no way federal government will be able to collect VAT from everybody, including the retail stage. Yes. And that is why in other nations, they share this power. So that instead of one level of government utilizing this, they share it. It cascades down in such a way that they are all involved in a cooperative arrangement where there are no double taxation. All right. As you have in Nigeria, the incidence of double taxation will continue to increase because when governments are broke, they are going to look for every means of revenue mobilization, including irresponsible means of doing that.
All right, Dr. Abiola Sani is a fiscal federalism expert and a tax law lecturer in the University of Lagos. Thank you for coming on this morning.
My pleasure.